New this April from HyperX, it's the HyperX Clutch controller. Get better control of your mobile gaming with its comfortable grip, directional pad, analog sticks, and shoulder buttons. This versatile controller can fit a variety of phone widths and can also connect wirelessly for use on tablets and PCs. Learn more and pick one up online at HyperX and HP.com, Amazon, Micro Center, Target, Best Buy, and many other fine retailers. Hey everybody, and welcome to Hair of the Dogcast, your favorite Milwaukee podcast about video games and beer, and today about beer and beer.
Beer and beer.
We're mixing it up a little bit. My name's Brad, and we are part of the HyperX Podcast Network. Check out other podcasts at podcast.hyperx.com. But yes, we usually are very much a video game-centric podcast with a little bit of beer on the side, but today we're doing it a little differently. Who else is in the studio today?
I'm Dylan, and I'm ready to have a history lesson here because I know a little bit. Frankly, I've been on like the historic tour, you know.
Yeah, more than I have.
Twice. Yeah. You've never done it?
No, and I'm really bummed because I really wanted to after I learned so much.
A lot of pineapples on the staircases.
Interesting.
It means welcome.
Who else is here?
Oh, hi, guys.
Oh, hi.
I'm Josh. My name is Josh Blue Ribbon, and
You're voted Dogcast best.
3 years running, huh?
Yep.
I believe that must be so.
Dominic is also here. I've come out of the gutters of Milwaukee.
RV living.
Yeah. Same thing. And here I am.
So, yes, we usually talk a lot more about video games, but I wanted to try something new and kind of put what usually is our efforts towards video game discussions to real life, the true story of Pabst Blue Ribbon. Little context. I am a beer person. I've worked in craft breweries for about 7 or 8 years. I recently left the industry, but I love the beer scene, and I know quite a bit about craft beer in Milwaukee. I've worked in Minneapolis and ran a bottling line in New Zealand, so I know a lot about the behind-the-scenes stuff. Josh here is also just a legend of the Milwaukee beer scene.
As I flip my hair back,
He's bald.
yeah, I like beer a lot. I opened a craft beer bar focused on beer, and yeah, I love learning everything about the history of beer, who makes the best versions of every style, and some of the brewing science, such and whatnot too.
And you're from Watertown, Wisconsin.
Indeed.
Dylan, you're from up north, right? By Green Bay?
I'm from Green Bay, yeah.
And Dom is from?
I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
And I'm from South Dakota.
Yeah.
Look at us. We're so worldly.
And the reason I bring that up is because today we're talking about one of the most classic Milwaukee beers, at least established here. Ever. One of the most important breweries in Milwaukee history.
Uh-huh.
Truly.
And when I moved to Milwaukee, I didn't know that this was the brew city. I didn't know a lot of the history about what the city was built on. And this city was largely built on beer barons, on the beer scene. Mm-hmm. And I learned a lot more today, so it's just interesting. I walk through Walker's Point now, and I just see old breweries and Jeffrey Dahmer's. I'm like, it's got everything in one place now.
It's like you're going through a map of my mind.
PBR is an American lager beer sold by Pabst Brewing Company, established in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 1844. It's currently based elsewhere.
Is it still in L.A.? My cousin was looking at.
I think it's in San Antonio now. It went to L.A. and then moved to San Antonio, I believe.
I think the spot where it was at is now an art, like condominium place, like an art area, like art district or something like that. But yeah.
First, though, why did Milwaukee become the beer capital of the world? Why did we become Brew City?
Germans.
German inheritance, yep.
One of the major points, yes. The Germans loved Milwaukee.
The Germans.
It was...
Alice Cooper loves Milwaukee, too. Don't forget that.
We never would. Alice Cooper, thank you for listening. We are always supporting you.
Dude.
Is he alive?
Yes, he is.
He'll never die. Weekend at Alice Cooper's.
I love $1 Billion Baby.
Milwaukee was a uniquely bumping scene of German Catholicism at the time.
Yes,
That's what I found in one of the many articles I read.
I feel like it still is.
German Catholicism is like a deeply rooted, especially in like high concentrated areas of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's just so pervasive. You can't escape it.
And the city, part of this was even referred to as German Athens at the time, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Another one of the main reasons Milwaukee's great is our climate. Back in the day, our cold climate provided a ready supply of ice blocks, which were needed to make lagers,
That
keep
makes sense.
ingredients fresh. Lagers take
right
a
next to
while
the water, baby.
to ferment, so
Lakes.
they needed ice. And you know what Milwaukee's got? We got ice.
Cold ass weather.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure do. It falls out of the sky even.
Put them in the caves, baby.
Blessed.
it's also
store
Milwaukee.
forever.
Milwaukee's an excellent land for growing wheat. So there was a lot of different reasons why this kind of just became the spot. And yes, Germans loved beer. They loved making beer, and they all came here to be Catholics together.
Yeah.
Schnitzel.
Schnitzel.
Yeah, that too.
Does anyone know when the first brewery opened in Milwaukee?
18.
I'm gonna make a guess. Can we do Prices Right rolls?
If you want.
I'm gonna say 1860.
And you said 1855?
Sure.
I'm going to go 1901.
1840, which is why 1840 is named 1840.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay, if you haven't been here, 1840 is a great brewery.
Welsh settler opened the first brewery and named it Milwaukee Brewery. Beer barons descended on our city, and we became a beer capital. One historian estimated that by the 1850s, there was one brew pub for every 40 residents within Milwaukee, which I feel like, despite
Still
us
is
getting
right.
bigger, is still correct.
It's got to be right. I'm sorry.
It's still weird just driving down residential
We'll hang out in
side
Walker's
streets.
We'll hang out in Walker's Point. Like seriously.
You can't even find a house here. You just find just breweries, and you find places,
essentially.
bars.
I'll move into a brewery. Fuck it.
I would.
I would too.
But the story of Pabst Brewing begins with a young man by the name of Jacob Best. He was born in Hesse-Darmstadt on May 1st, 1786.
Holy shit, you pronounce that like a motherfucker. Look at you.
Thanks, man. It was located in modern Germany, and it wasn't Germany at the time. It was like the Holy Kingdom or something like that. I'm not going to go into that history lesson.
Germania is a very complicated history.
But
yes.
he learned the brewing trade and operated a small brewery in Mettenheim before migrating to Milwaukee in 1842 to reunite with some of his sons who were here. His sons had arrived in 1840 to find jobs. Together, they organized a brewery and distilling business called Empire Brewery. Empire was the original name of what would become known as Pabst later on.
That's actually okay. I'll go with that.
Empire Brewery was established in 1844 on Chestnut Hill. Jacob ran this with his sons Philip, Jacob Jr., Charlie, and Lorenz. They produced at the time lager beer, whiskey, and vinegar.
Right over here downtown, damn it.
Yeah.
Chestnut Hill, the street?
Seriously, all of this history is right around here.
I
It is
know.
crazy.
We're standing on it right now.
His sons, Charles and Lorenz, though, withdrew from the company and established Plank Road Brewery. This brewery would later sell to Frederick Miller, and he turned it into Miller Brewing.
Wow.
Fred. Yeah.
Damn.
So it's interesting that a break-off of Empire Brewing became Miller. But that was the time. There was a lot of breweries happening, and just those were the ones that came out. But they eventually stopped making whiskey and vinegar and concentrated on light lager beer, which we are drinking right now. We are drinking some PBR. And there, just from doing my research, there's a few things that are not accurate on this can. I know that much, but we'll get there. They began Empire Brewery. They began at the rate of 300 barrels per year. For comparison, approximately 2 million barrels of PBR are brewed annually today.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Compared to the 300?
Just 300
Yeah, these are
barrels.
made in like Coors Light, Miller Light
Major
buildings,
tanks.
gigantic billion-gallon barrel
Because
tanks.
there is not a PBR brewery anymore.
Yeah.
It
And
is a
it's-
digital brewery, is what
Yeah,
I
who
saw a lot of people refer to it.
I've heard things. Who owns Pabst right now? Is it the fucking like Russians that bought it or something?
It's still a Russian that owns it, I believe, yeah.
What are we doing?
Invading Ukraine.
Eugene Kashper,
Nah, it sucks.
beer entrepreneur, but
That
yes.
doesn't mean it supports, yeah. But
Best Brewing, 300 barrels per year. And initially they brewed ales and porters, but added German-style lagers. On February 22nd, 1845,
Pabst Porter.
the
Rolls
Pabst
off the
Porter,
tongue.
there's a lot of, and at the time it would have been Empire Porter or Empire Ale, because Pabst wasn't a thing yet to them. There was a man learning how to be a captain that we do not know yet that would eventually bring his big Pabst energy into the scene.
A man, you say?
And the Beer Fairy has brought us more PBRs because we are drinking the delicious Pabst Blue Ribbon, established in Milwaukee,
Put mine
1844.
on ice. I'm not rushing.
Empire Brewery was the original name, but they eventually changed it to become Best and Company.
Best in Company.
Because his name was Jacob Best, and his sons are like, we want to be involved. Like, and Company. Your last name is Best too, you
We're not going to call ourselves
Back when you could get
Jacob,
away with
Ted,
having
Tom,
a bad
and
name.
Bilbo.
Yeah, Jacob, Tom, Ted, and Bilbo Brewing. It's not bad.
It's so funny. Like sometimes, like I will be walking around and they're like, oh, I'll be like, oh, my name's Dylan Hoff, and they're like Hoffco, the shoe polish people.
Yeah.
Jacob Sr. retired.
Yes.
Jacob Sr. retired in 1853, leaving Best Brewing Company to Philip and Jacob Jr., who continued operations as a partnership. In 1867, the brewery decided to employ steam power to produce nearly 40,000 barrels a year.
Wow.
They employed 8 men and used 10 horses for delivery, which, as someone who did beer delivery for 2 years, I do get positively tickled when I see the old beer delivery methods.
It's cool.
Yep.
It's fucking rad.
It also looks similar. They just didn't have podcasts.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Not at all.
That's how we deliver podcasts. Actually, is that we get like Clydesdales and they, you know,
horse and buggy.
they're tired. They can't do it today. I fed them too much beer.
Spotify needs us.
Oh, let's get those reviews, boys.
Best Brewery was renamed Philip Best Brewery because Philip had a fragile ego.
Whoa.
I don't know if that's all true, but in 1859 he did change the name to Philip Best Brewery because he needed his name on there, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know why, but he wanted it. And he owned it, so you do what you want.
I think
Fair
back
enough.
then it was you put your name on something, that way you get money later.
Can I be Dylan Best?
You can be Dylan.
Well, change your name to Dylan Pabst, if anything.
Honestly, no, that's a little too on the nose.
It would have been cool 20 years ago.
Yes.
1864, Philip made his 2 sons-in-law, Frederick Pabst and Emil Shandine, equal partners.
Emil?
Yeah. Emil's Pizza.
Oh, what?
At this point, we're going to take a side story and go back in time even further to talk about a young boy by the name of Freddie Pabst. Freddie was born in Prussia in 1836, and at the mature age of 12, he moved to America with his parents. His family first settled in Milwaukee, and they smelled it, and they moved to Chicago.
He smelt it and moved to Chicago.
Smells
Then they
like
dealt
beer.
Let us try Chicago.
The smell of the dead fish wafts into my nose.
The smell of Walker's Point. I got to get out of here.
His mother died of cholera the following year.
Oh, fuck.
Now I am sad.
I am a sad 12-year-old.
I kind of liked how Milwaukee smelled.
His father and he eked out an existence as waiters and busboys in hotels for a while,
Makes sense.
but he enjoyed his voyage to America and decided he wanted to become a cabin boy on a Lake Michigan steamer, the Sam Ward,
Hell yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty great, actually.
who was actually an ancestor of mine.
You ever see the movie
Really?
Cabin Boy?
No, but he has my last name, so possibly.
He probably would be.
It's
Maybe related
probable.
somehow. Yeah,
Distant.
there's a lot of Sams in my family, but so yes, young Pabst was a cabin boy. He was instructed to not allow passengers to leave the side wheel steamer without showing a valid ticket. The vessel's owner himself was stopped and tried to push the boy out of the way, and the boy pushed him back and said he needed to see a ticket. Then he tried to offer the kid $1, and the kid said, "Nah, dude."
Not it.
So he went back to his cabin, and he sat there, and he's like, "Dang, that kid was really cool, actually." And he became one of Freddie Pabst's best friends later in life.
That's awesome.
It's like Dylan as a bouncer. He's like, "Nah, I don't care.
I don't give a shit. I didn't give a
I'll
shit.
give you $20. I don't care."
I did do that though.
You took $20?
Oh, I took 20.
Wow.
During Bucks games, I would make at least $120. But it's also like if you really wanted to get in and you're like, come on, man, like you're at capacity. Are you really? I'm like,
No.
I am. I'm totally at capacity. And they're just like, for this? I'm like,
Whatever, go in.
like I think I just saw someone leave.
And you'd be like, "Have you heard of Frederick Pabst and the way he treated the owner of the Sam Ward?" No, I'm not
Exactly.
letting you in.
And I referenced that exactly.
You invoke his name a lot in life, actually.
Yes, I do.
By the age of 21, he had acquired his pilot's license and was now Captain Pabst. And despite leaving the captain industry later on, the seafaring industry, he always referred to himself as Captain Pabst because once a captain, always a captain.
It's true. You can still do that today, by the way. There is a dating site called Captains Only or something like that. Like, and it's literally like sea captains trying to find women.
One time they let me drive the duck on one of those like ride the ducks things where it's like those vehicles that go
Paddle
from land.
swans.
So I think I'm a captain.
Oh no, you drove a duck?
Yeah, he let me use the steering wheel.
Into like where in Boston? Or
No,
where
this
were
is like
you?
the Dells.
It was probably in the Dells. It was
Yeah.
either that or maybe in like Dollywood. But I think I'm technically a captain now because
I think you are.
He let me
I think
drive
once
it.
a captain, always a captain.
Captain Ward.
I always fancied myself a captain. I'm a huge pirate guy. You know that.
Yeah, you are. And you always wear that eye patch.
Yar, it's me.
I can tell.
Around 1857, during the next 6 years, Captain Pabst navigated the ships of the Goodrich Transportation Line, the Traveler between Milwaukee and Chicago, the Huron between Milwaukee and Two Rivers, the Seabird between Milwaukee and Manitowoc, and the Comet between Milwaukee and Sheboygan, an important barley market that provided the key ingredient in beer. Common at the time, though, were families who ride along on ships, and that's when in 1860, Frederick Pabst meets Maria Best. Whew.
Oh no.
I hear she was species spicy.
2 years of courtship began, and yes, by all accounts, this romance was intense.
Good.
Yeah,
That's hot.
like they were holding hands before they got married.
Dude, that's fucking sick.
Damn.
Captain Pabst is like, you want to see my steering wheel?
Dude, guys,
my
like
God.
that's so pimp.
Yeah, check out my cabin,
so
baby.
It's like when someone
Remember
works for a
people said
cheese.
that?
It's like when someone works for a cheese store, and he's like, I can go to the roof, and he takes dates up to the roof. He's
Oh,
like, you want to
yeah.
kiss me now?
And then they do because they were already attracted to me anyway.
You wouldn't have gotten them up to the roof if you didn't. If they
That's
didn't.
actually
You know what you
definitely
should have done
true.
though is take him back where the cheese gets made. You want to see where the cheese gets made?
I'm not willing to contaminate the cheese.
You do have standards.
I do.
1862,
I'm a craftsman.
1852, our boy Freddie marries Maria Best. They would have 11 children. Only five.
Man.
shit.
Only 5 surviving to adulthood.
But still,
No, that
at
dude,
that
that's what-
time,
that
that's
was-
still
that's the
too
time.
many.
So my even my great
That's too many.
No, like
anytime.
But that's any time up until maybe like the 40s. So my great grandmother, she has a ton of kids. I think she attempted to have 20 and only 8 of them survived. That's just kind of how it was. Especially in this area back then, it was so hard to actually get medical treatment because it was so far away. There's no easy access. There's no ambulances. There's no nothing. So like a lot of births were done on just a standard bed. They had no local anesthesia.
These kids didn't even have Instagram back in the day.
Dog, they didn't even
Definitely
have
not.
TikTok. They didn't even like do the floss.
They were doing a different version of the floss, but they didn't have dental care, so they didn't call it flossing back then.
Well, it's still so funny because even my great grandmother's not like crazy old. Like she was born in 1925.
So this brings us to an important moment called the Voyage of the Seabird. December 1963, Captain Pabst is piloting the Seabird, which had been built in 1859. Traveling south from Sheboygan, a winter storm descended on the vessel. And Captain Pabst made the decision to beach the vessel out of Whitefish Bay to save the crew. And after this, he left the nautical industry. He said, fuck this, I'm done.
I was expecting more of a heroic tale, and I was kind of braced for it.
He crashed his ship to save the crew. That is pretty damn heroic.
That's
and
kinda
I'm sure
hot.
if you were there at the time, I'm sure that was pretty intense.
Oh yeah, man, I believe that.
I mean, you wouldn't just be like, "Oh yeah, we all had a great time at Cancun, and
I don't
now
think
I'm
anyone-
done."
What if
I
it was just
don't
like a
think-
light sprinkle? Is like, we're not risking it.
Yeah.
We're not risking it.
I don't think anyone at this time in history actually had a good time doing a lot of things, so I think it's fine.
Yeah, life sucked back then.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, half of his kids died in childbirth. Okay, you're right. It was tough.
No, they used to not name kids until like after their first year.
Papa, I'm almost 7. Can I have my name? We
no,
don't.
you're
We don't know.
You're the
yet.
little shit.
We don't know.
Go play.
You're year one Batman.
you're one Batman.
Yes, so he sold his shipping interests and accepted his father-in-law's offer to buy half of the Philip Best Brewing Company. He had no knowledge at the time. The saying back then was you had to learn everything from inside the barrel out.
It's kind of dope to learn the entire industry before you're forced to like do one specific job within it.
He owns like half the company. He's like, so what is beer?
Yeah. And I think that's actually cool. Like even the job I have right now, they made me do everyone else's job the first week just to understand what it was. Like, I think that's actually kind of important and cool.
Captain Pabst's knowledge of shipping greatly helped the brewery expand. A New York brewer in 1892 said at the time, Frederick Pabst is one of the greatest minds at organizing and systemizing details so as to secure the best results in economy of time and labor. And he's fucking cool. Did you hear he was a captain?
That is the coolest. It's pretty cool.
I want to be called Captain Dylan. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, if I could?
Yo, dude, if you want to go like full on into a sailboat.
You're in?
Yeah.
You'll do this with me?
Yeah. There's like a lake right there. I don't know if you know about it.
We're going to have to do it together, though. I need like confidence from a friend.
Sure.
Okay. We'll do it.
I know how to tie knots. I was once an Eagle Scout.
And I also have an adventurous spirit, which I will probably get us killed.
That's what you should name the ship. I could probably get us killed.
On the light.
The adventurous spirit, ... that will probably kill us.
On the mighty Lake Michigan, we will probably get overtaken in a perfect storm, George Clooney style.
Or pirates will.
You're going to run out of beer in 2 hours, and like that was fun.
Like, fuck this. Yeah.
Well, I ain't going to drink on the lake, man. Not if I'm piloting a sailboat.
October 8th, 1871, a fire started near a barn in Chicago, which was in the midst of a severe drought.
Caused by a cow.
Allegedly.
I think this is it. This is the story we all know.
The fire spread to over 3 square miles of the city, destroying 11 of Chicago's 23 breweries.
No.
I know, Josh, this is sad. Much of its waterworks and the housing for a third of their population. Milwaukee breweries came to the rescue, and they're like, we'll get you drunk. We'll get you drunk. Like, yes, and everyone's dead. You can't drink a lot of water, but if you want beer, we can help you. Schlitz in particular became known as the beer that made Milwaukee famous, although this was also very good for PBR at the time.
Yes.
1873, Captain Frederick Pabst became president of the firm, and in 1874, Philip Best Brewing Company was the largest brewery in the nation, supplying Chicago, producing 100,000 barrels of beer annually. At the time, their most well-known beer they were making was called Best Select. And this goes back to 1844. This was their lager. This was Best Select.
I've actually seen some like old photos of their like bottles.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
And I mean, when they say this was established in 1844, the original version of PBR was Best Select.
Yes. It's essentially the same beer in a lot of ways.
Is it not the one we're drinking today?
Yes.
I'm sure there's a lot of things different about it, but
there has to be, based off of ingredients and time and everything.
Changing malt builds and stuff.
Exactly.
The whole brewing scene has changed. But Best Select won many awards in the 1870s. It won a gold medal at Philadelphia Centennial. PBR, can't call it that yet. Pabst, can't even call it that yet. Pabst Brewing Company doesn't happen for a little bit longer, but 1880, it became one of the first breweries with an ice machine and incandescent lights. So they were definitely like, check this out. He just flipped the light on. He's like, check that out, huh?
Pretty nice, huh?
You want to see my bedroom?
You want to check this out? It's pretty great. We don't even have to light a candle.
So the ice is in the machine?
So how does it work? They discovered Freon around that time. That's how that works. But,
And if you're making a lot of lager beers, keeping things cold is a good thing.
Of course.
Yes. And I said this was also around one of the very first public tours of brewing facilities were common that like we're aware of anyways.
Yeah.
You could also get bottomless glasses of beer at the end of this tour, making all of the people love going to brewery tours.
Can I also say that the people who worked there were allowed as much beer as they wanted on the job?
It's a very fun thing being able to get drunk.
They were just able to do it. They didn't care. Oh, you could fall in the machine. You're going to become human, taco meat. But it's fine.
In 1888, Emil Shandine dies and Captain Pabst becomes the sole owner of the company. 1889, the brewery was renamed to Pabst Brewing Company. At 1892, during this time, the brewery was producing over 1 million barrels of beer annually, thanks in part to the acquisition of the 4th largest brewery in the city, Falk, Young, and Borchert Brewing. Pabst was the largest brewer of lager beer in the world. In 1892, Milwaukee Sentinel published this about the size of Pabst's beer vats. It said, if a man drank 4 gallons a day from one of those, it would take him over 33 years to empty it.
Ooh.
And we're coming to an interesting part of our story where we learned about the Blue Ribbon.
Yeah, tell me
Where
about it.
did they win this Blue Ribbon, Brad?
At the fair?
They never did. The Blue Ribbon was a very good marketing scheme.
Well, if they just got a blue ribbon and said it's theirs, I mean, how do you deny that?
Well, I don't know whose idea it was, but in 1882, the company started tying a blue ribbon around the bottle when they were doing competitions.
Sure.
Because that signifies like first place, usually, right?
It just makes it look fancy, I think.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Gosh, they must be pretty important or something.
Why has it got a ribbon?
Dip them in wax bottles too.
Hipsters love that.
Oh yeah.
They sure as fuck do.
Yeah, they started tying ribbons around there. This was just a way to kind of make them stand out at brewing competitions. But in 1893, Chicago was hosting the World's Columbian Exposition, also known as Chicago's World Fair.
Oh, this is the famous World's Fair of H.H. Holmes.
Yes.
The most prolific serial killer maybe of all time, but nobody talks about him as much.
He probably was drinking some PBR at the time. We don't know.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, that dude was getting drunk constantly.
Constantly.
Oh, the blue ribbon is kind of up towards the top of the beer, and it kind of drapes down in a really nice way. It's not how it looks on the side of the can right now.
The label looks like kind of like the champagne of beers style
No.
font writing.
It's
It's
not.
it's
it-
kind of like a dressage, kind of like
honestly, if you look at the can, it
Well, if
looks
that-
like more of a participation award.
Captain Pabst was at the World's Fair, and he entered the Best Select in a beer tasting competition. This is where they say this was selected on the can. It says selected as America's best in 1893. This is a bit of a misdirection. This is not 100% accurate. Many breweries were given medals then. Everyone was given a bronze medal. It wasn't like first or second. They're like, oh, this many people like you. We like you for this.
Yeah.
It was not voted best, but they did win awards. And
This is interesting.
yeah, it won in GABF. It's won
That's
multiple times.
Kind of very surprising. But
Oh, it's we'll get to that later, but it's a little bit like the best domestic lager or something like that.
says American style lager.
Yeah, Pabst around this time and for a while would purchase almost 1 million feet of blue ribbon to be tied around each Best Select beer.
Jesus Christ.
They did this from
Blue ribbon industry is booming.
yeah. There's a blue ribbon maker that's like 1 million feet.
My name is Johnny Blue Ribbon, and I need to make all these blue ribbons.
We're
That's
not
how
naming
people
him
were
yet.
named back
We've lost
then.
10 kids in the factory this year.
I'd like a name, Papa. No.
Blue Ribbon was added to the beer name in 1895, and in 1899, the brand name was changed to Pabst Blue Ribbon. 1899 was the very first time you could go get a Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. Before that, it was just best select Blue
1899,
Ribbon.
you say?
1899.
Oh my gosh.
I'm learning so much today. This is great. I like this. Brad, can you just like teach me things and I comment?
Well, as long as Patreon is there.
Okay.
Check us out on patreon.com/hearthedogcast.
Yeah.
Wait, no, they were doing this until World War I slowed the ribbon down because of a silk shortage. So they, during World War I and after, they didn't put the blue ribbons on anymore.
Oh, darn it.
Yes.
1914 to 1918.
In the 1930s, though, the ribbon did begin appearing on PBR cans when they started doing the cans for the first time because they could just print them on there and didn't have to have Johnny Blue Ribbon make another 1 million feet of blue ribbon every year.
And by this point, his children were in their 40s and they still weren't named.
Yeah.
They were just called Blue Ribbon 1, Blue Ribbon 2.
I'll
Blue
name
Ribbon
you
3.
when I'm dead.
Yeah, exactly.
1884, the Pabst Brewing Company got a cool new brewer. His name's J.F. Thurer. He trained at the Berlin Brewing College. He, amongst other things, invented filters, barley washers, beer coolers, air purifiers, and a system of direct carbonation for kegged and bottled beer. From 1886 onwards, Pabst was shipped to the Caribbean, Australia, Canada, South America, and the West Indies.
Fucking wild.
Now,
Yeah, definitely.
now, can I tell you, and in China, Pabst Blue Ribbon is kind of shishi like big time beer over there.
Well, in China,
It's
they have
expensive.
in China they have a version of Pabst
like-
called Pabst Brewing 1840, which is a $44 version of the beer.
Yes. Well, but it's also treated like gold, which is kind of wild because I don't like a lot of Chinese beers. But
In 1889, British brewing syndicates began aggressively buying independent American breweries. They're just buying everything. They approached Pabst, and he had this to say to them. Yeah, the $16 million offer was enough to make a man's hair stand on end, but I've been walking around this plant, and I'm kind of proud of it. No, you can't have it. I'm going to stick to it and give Milwaukee the largest brewery in the world. The captain refused to leave the ship.
Good.
It's called Milwaukee energy.
Yeah. Everyone's like, this guy gets it, man.
He's a straight up C word, man.
Cool guy.
Yep.
To serve the German-American community of Milwaukee, Pabst built the Pabst Theater, which opened on November 8th, 1895.
Great venue.
Great venue. We were there less than a year ago.
Now, I didn't want to put down like all of the stuff, but like there's a million Pabst buildings in Milwaukee.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
They were patrons of so many different things. Schools, arts, a lot of that stuff.
Mansions,
Hotels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, the Pabst Mansion began to develop in 1889. By the turn of the century, Pabst had created a real estate empire across the U.S. with hundreds of taverns, several restaurants, beer halls and gardens, hotels, a skyscraper, a theater, and a resort. At the turn of the century as well, the company mainly sold 5 different brands of beer. Standard Bohemian, Doppelbrau,
Sure.
Early Spring Bock,
Never had it.
Blue Ribbon, and Best Tonic, which was a malt extract. Around this time, too, I was looking at advertising.
Nobody drinks tonic.
They were releasing little books called, like, Secrets.
Kidding.
And a lot of it was, do you feel ill? Try drinking more Pabst. Like, they were just trying to make
I've seen those, yeah.
like allusions to how it's just medicine.
And what they have now, I'm sure we're going to talk about later.
You definitely
It's
won't beat your
much
family
different.
after this. Honestly.
In 1903, Schlitz overtakes Pabst as the world's best-selling beer.
Oh,
Damn.
That same year, Miller introduces their flagship brand, High Life, and
Annihilates.
We all know what happens there, yeah.
gets you more drunk.
It does. It's more ABV.
1904, due to emphysema and pulmonary edema caused by years of smoking cigars, diabetes, and 2 strokes while on vacation in Southern California.
Just specifically in Southern California.
And Pabst's health declined rapidly. He died on January 1st, 1904. Newspapers around the world lamented his passing. At the height of his success, he passed on to his children and his eldest granddaughter, Emma, $1 million, approximately 27.4 as of 2014 with inflation, worth of company stock at a time when the average working class salary is about $600 per year, or approximately blah, blah, blah. And his sons, both educated at military academies and trained at brewers at Arnold Schwartz's United States Brewers Academy in New York. They took over the business as president and vice president, respectively. We're going to move on the rest of the history a little quick here, but we're going to take a quick break to hear from some of the other amazing shows from the HyperX Podcast Network.
Yeah.
Wow, look at him go.
Whoa. And we'll be right back.
I'll listen to that one, and I'll listen to that one.
Previously on Chat of the Wild.
But what we have to do is there are these seeds in these little holes that we have to put specific water on to make them grow up, and we get the Mario sound effect for the vines going up.
Yes.
Like it's what exactly is the sound effect for Mario that they use?
Can you guys just do that simultaneously again?
Chat of the Wild, breaking down Zelda and Zelda-like games, one dungeon at a time. Wednesdays on the HyperX Podcast Network.
Video Deathloop is the show where we watch a short video clip on loop until we just can't take it anymore. Along the way, we'll try our best to make each other laugh and to hold out longer than the other guy. Come in on any episode. Video Deathloop, new episodes every Friday.
New this April from HyperX, it's the HyperX Clutch controller. Get better control of your mobile gaming with its comfortable grip, directional pad, analog sticks, and shoulder buttons. This versatile controller can fit a variety of phone widths and can also connect wirelessly for use on tablets and PCs. Learn more and pick one up online at hyperxandhp.com, Amazon, Micro Center, Target, Best Buy, and other fine retailers.
We're back, everybody. And we are drinking
She drink Pabst.
a Pabst Blue Ribbon hard coffee beverage. This is the salted caramel, a 5% ABV. I was very confused when I first saw this in stores. I have never tried one.
I haven't had this one. I've had something similar just out of curiosity during the pandemic. That's pretty much the only time.
I've had the cold brew
Coffee, hard.
Josh, I believe you said it tastes like that cafeteria chocolate
fine.
milk.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'd like to
That's
agree.
entirely drinkable.
It's definitely the cold brew tastes great.
Smacky.
I don't get a lot of coffee out of that, and I've never had this one yet. I want to try it.
Cheers,
yes.
fellas. Cheers, fellas.
Not over the Saturn.
Right.
Today, Josh's Sega Saturn passed away due to a bath in PBR hard coffee. How could this have happened?
It was the dumbest day in the humanity of time and such.
Speaking of dumb times, the next part of our story, we're going to move into the 1920s, and we're going to talk about Prohibition.
Here we go.
Are you sure
imagine
this
me dancing
salted
like a
caramel
flapper,
isn't the same thing as
like
the hard
Charleston?
coffee?
Oh my gosh.
This is the hard coffee.
Yeah, but like the regular one.
There's two variations, and it's either salted caramel or like another flavor.
Brew.
Cold brew. It's the
cold
cold brew, and it literally tastes like
tastes
chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Isn't that what
And it
this
gets you
is?
fucked.
It ain't bad.
Isn't this the same
It's quite
thing?
good. That one tastes, it's caramel. It's the caramel chocolate milk.
During Prohibition, Pabst was unable to make beer. So they stayed alive as a cheese-making business. Their cheese product was called Pabst Et.
Do they still make cheese to this day?
No, they do not. But this pissed Kraft off a lot because Kraft was running the cheese show.
Oh, okay.
Kenny Kraft did not like that.
Kenny Kraft was pissed.
Here we go.
So the process of making beer is not so dissimilar from making cheese. As someone who is a cheesemonger, there is some like overlap to it. A lot of it is controlling like pH balance and figuring all this stuff out. And to be honest, it is not that hard to become a cheese maker.
Become a cheese
monster.
But to have that is actually kind of interesting because to switch gears so quickly and like just know exactly what to do, that's kind of wild.
It's
I would kill to
solids.
eat this cheese. I would go back in time to eat this cheese.
Maybe we should just actually do that and go back in time.
They owned farmland already because they were training horses there for beer delivery. This was before the advent of the automobile. But then they changed to being a dairy producer for the cheese factory. This was made in Oconomowoc at Pabst Holstein Farms. They also made
on the way here.
They also sold malt syrup and soft drinks. They leased out factory space to Harley-Davidson. Pabst Et, during the 13 years of Prohibition, sold more than 8 million pounds of its cheese spread before they sold it to Kraft. And they said, "Joke's on you, bitches. We didn't even want to make cheese," and they left.
That's fucking hardcore.
They got it. Allegedly, according to the American Beer Museum blog, Pabst is believed to be the first brewery to package beers in packs of 6. This is disputed by some people, but no one knows the answer, so this is worth mentioning.
That's wild. Nobody wrote it in their diary?
Yeah. Well, probably a lot of different people like, I invented the toothpick. And they're like, we can't prove him wrong. We don't know, but I don't think it was him.
You want to know what? I'm going to say it right now. I invented finger guns.
That's cool.
I fucking did that.
I thought you did.
Thank you.
This allegedly, the 6-pack idea was caught on after Pabst did a study that determined 6 beers was the ideal weight for the average housewife to hoist home from a store.
Oh, God.
There were scientists with pipettes that were just moving liquids back and forth. They're like, 6 beers. She can only carry 6 beers home.
Yeah. God
You don't
forbid
want
her
it too
biceps.
buff because then her hips will get too small.
Alternatively, though,
That's
Times
really
are
how people
different.
talked.
Alternatively, though, 6-packs also fit snugly in a standard paper grocery bag, which might have been another reason. Coca-Cola claims to have invented the 6-pack. We may never know. Packaged cans, though, began in 1936 for Pabst. A person by the name of Harris Perlstein was named president by Freddie Pabst Jr. Under his direction, Pabst worked with the American Can Company to produce the first beer cans. In 1953, there was a Milwaukee brewery strike where 7,100 workers went on strike at 6 breweries. Beginning May 14th, many bars had enough beer to survive. And they're like, this isn't a big deal. By June, beer had to be imported from outside of Milwaukee. I guess people didn't really care that much, though. But eventually, the strike did end. I'm going to show you guys now some advertising, some of the best ads I could find along the way.
Hell yeah.
First, I don't have video for this first one, but in 1943 to 44, there was a short-lived Saturday evening CBS program called Blue Ribbon Town, which was released featuring Groucho Marx. Here is one of the earliest beer ads I could find, though.
On the radio?
No, this is a video ad.
A time for fun, a job well done for Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. It's fun to relax and join your friends with Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. For fellowship, companionship, drink a toast delicious and clear. Pabst makes it perfect when good friends meet.
I actually just gave some of those glasses away.
This is charming as fuck. I hate to say it.
Or we invite you to pour a Pabst Blue Ribbon toast. Clearly refreshing, that bright golden brew. Clearly delicious, Pabst flavor comes through. Come, pour and drink a toast with Pabst Blue Ribbon beer.
Good times with good friends, and Pabst makes it perfect. Clearly refreshing, clearly delicious. That's Pabst Blue Ribbon. Over 100 million barrels since 1844.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Humble brag.
1 gazillion barrels.
This next one is one of their most popular songs that they wind up reusing for like the next 60
I
years.
believe I've heard this one.
What do you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon. What'll you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon. When a waitress glides up to your place with a pretty smile upon her face, here's the way to really romance her. Give her that Pabst Blue Ribbon answer. What do you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon.
What'll you have?
Pabst Blue Ribbon. What do you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon. Pabst Blue Ribbon beer.
Smoother, smoother, smoother flavors, zest and sparkle, millions flavor. Taste that smoother, smoother flavor.
Pabst Blue Ribbon beer.
Finest beer served anywhere. Prove it yourself. Make the three-way experts test. 1, see the clear color. Look at the creamy head. 2, sniff that fragrant Blue Ribbon blend. 3,
smells like
taste
ribbons.
the flavor the whole world knows. And you'll agree, finest beer served anywhere.
What do you have?
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
This is a little more like genuine. Like this is when like advertisements were literally like
you could-
try popcorn. Popcorn is it rules.
Yeah.
Eat popcorn. There's not so much popcorn, but we have popcorn for you.
When you have a color palette that is black and white,
That's true.
and the fact that it's like, try this beer because it's smoother than anything else, and they just have a goblet of beer that has those bubbles coming up. I was like, yeah, I'd drink that.
It looks good.
It honestly looks fucking awesome. And I'll tell you this, like it reminds me of like when the Flintstones used to like advertise cigarettes. I'm like, God, I want to fucking smoke a Fred Flintstone is smoking. Like fuck.
Fred Flintstone did an advertisement for Busch Beer. In
he did,
1986, David Lynch made a film called Blue Velvet. The character, Frank Booth, played by Dennis Hopper, asks main character Jeffrey Beaumont for his favorite beer. Beaumont answers Heineken.
Fuck, it's so good for the wrong reason.
This is the best Pabst commercial without being a Pabst commercial.
Yeah, I've seen this one.
What kind of beer do you like? Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
And there is also one other great commercial, which is
But
Patrick
also fuck
Swayze.
Heineken.
Yeah, I understand the sentiment.
Not great.
Tom told me he watched this movie, and Dennis Hopper is very fucked up this entire movie. Good for him.
Yes, he is. Oh, good. No,
He's a
good for
method
him, I
actor
guess.
at that point.
No, meth actor.
Oh, meth actor.
Well, you know.
In 1956, Pabst slipped out of the top 5 national brewers. So they purchased Blatz, which made them the 3rd largest brewery in 1961.
I'm a Blatz boy, secretly.
1969, federal antitrust suit forced the company to sell Blatz. 1977, sales peaked for Pabst at 18 million barrels. 1982, it dropped to 5th in beer sales in the U.S. 1985, Paul Kalmanovitz purchased Pabst for $63 million in a hostile takeover. 1996 is a very sad point in our story. Pabst closes its Milwaukee brewery and moves to San Antonio.
The museum's still here, though.
Yeah, they also came back and made another brewery here later on.
They did.
But yes, you can find articles where people that were working for Pabst at the time were like, this is fucking terrible. I worked there for 23 years. This is my life. This is my family. And they just left. Yeah.
I will say this. It is sad for the people that live here, but San Antonio is like the 7th biggest country or city in America.
Is it really?
So it's a smart move for them to move down there.
Yeah. I don't know if it was more just about consolidating what was happening. Less spaces operating putting out similar amounts of product. Regardless, things were very much on the decline for Pabst at this point. And they made a decision, and they left Milwaukee, its home, for so long. And it is the end of an era. And it didn't bother me at the time. I was watching Power Rangers in my underwear, so I was happy.
Absolutely,
I was very happy at the time. The people that were working for Pabst though, were probably upset.
Yeah, absolutely.
1999, Pabst acquires Stroh Brewing Company, which includes Schlitz,
Stroh,
Old Milwaukee, Colt 45, and Old Style. So Pabst does own many different beers.
That's crazy to think it was that long ago. I remember people making a big stink about that.
About Schlitz coming back?
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I tried a 6-pack, and that was the story of that.
2001, Pabst moves entirely out of beer production, and they contracted through Miller Brewing Company to produce all of its beer and malt liquor at this time. At this point, the Blue Ribbon makes a giant fucking comeback.
Oh, hell yeah.
You guys
Hipsters, baby.
Everyone's playing beer
Hipsters and tall boys.
This is where this is the swinging Dylan era.
Not yet.
Sunglasses on
This is the
indoors.
2000s. This isn't 2010 yet.
Oh, we're all 6 now. We're all 6.
We're all in middle school, just like trying to grow mustaches.
I wasn't
Wait,
trying, I
what?
just was.
Me too. No, but Pabst was fucking going down. And early 2000s, urban hipsters wound up revitalizing the brand. Only one place in the country was selling PBRs at a very solid rate. Do you know where it was?
It was Flagstaff, Arizona. Where actually is it?
It's Portland, Oregon.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Oregon, I've actually heard that they've all stemmed from there.
Portland is where they were breeding in mass numbers, is what I heard.
A wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah, a lot of people said
None of
it.
the babies
A wretched hive of unicycles and rockabilly. That's what we'll call it.
And pretending that grunge is somehow anti like anything.
Yes, only one place was selling PBRs, and it was in Portland, Oregon. Neil Stewart.
Really?
That was like people like, yeah, we need more. Like it was going down everywhere, but for some reason, Portland was going very well.
I didn't know that. I was just throwing that out there.
So Neil Stewart, the brand manager at the time, flew out to Portland to investigate. And beer ads at this time were all dick jokes and girls in bikinis, and hipsters don't respond to that.
Budweiser.
Hipsters were drinking it because it was retro, it was cheap, and it wasn't flashy.
Yeah.
So Stewart had his new consumer base, anti-corporate, anti-marketing, nostalgia-loving members of subcultures living in specific urban centers, was how he described it.
That's called gutter punk.
Geographic strategy involved Seattle, Denver, and San Francisco. They started targeting small subsects of cultures, little subcultures, by not trying to court them, but they would just show up at the bar and he'd tell the bartender, "Don't tell anyone I work for Pabst," which the bartender would go tell everyone, "That guy works for Pabst," and they'd come over and talk to him. He's like, he'd just give him swag then, but he wasn't going out trying to make friends. He was just there and letting them
teaming.
He was letting them sell to themselves.
Yeah,
it's really smart.
It's really intelligent. Yeah.
And then they started sponsoring indie music festivals, facial hair clubs, and minor league sports. 2003, sales rose 15%. In 2000, they had less than 1 million gallons. By 2012, they were up to 92 million gallons.
Fuck yeah.
Damn.
That's the power of hipsters. And
yeah.
I was around 2012, like that time.
That was when I graduated college.
Grow that beard.
I was delivering pizza in the Twin Cities, hanging out with a lot of punks and hipsters. And yeah, they would always have cases of PBR. A buddy of mine by the name of Forehead, his name was Alex or Andrew Forehead, but everyone just called him Forehead.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
did he have a big forehead?
Well, no, but I told him, like,
his last name was Forehead.
I'm like, you're always drinking
it.
PBR. He's like, yeah, my band is sponsored by him. I was like, what does that mean? He's like, they just give us free PBR. And that's how it spreads. They find little groups and like, yeah, they pay us to go on tour and they just give us beer. I'm like, they targeted as many little things as possible because those people spread it to other people. It is urban marketing.
Word of mouth.
Hey.
Until you become so big that PBR is cool, and then the hipsters don't want it.
Not that cool, man.
Now they don't like it.
I don't know what the cool thing is hipsters drinking now.
I think it's the seltzers. I think that's what everyone's playing beer
Miller
pong with
Fortune.
now.
If I had to guess what hipsters are drinking now, it's craft light beers. Craft lagers is like the hot new thing.
No.
Craft beers in general.
Hipsters are all about price and commodity. So
It's the White Claw. They're playing beer pong with White Claw now.
maybe
hipsters will spend money on the organic, gluten-free,
Vegan
corn cobs.
It's a corn cob IPA.
They will spend money
Corn cob
to
IPA.
get their vegan this.
The hipsters have money these days.
Yeah. We have jobs now.
Yeah, good for them.
It took them a few years.
No, I mean, to me, what is the cool thing now is going to craft breweries and like saying you're over IPAs.
Yo, the West Coast is all about that. Right now, you go out there, they're like, oh, fuck that hazy IPA. I only drink West Coast IPAs because that's where I'm from. They don't say that's where I'm from, but that's what they're basically saying.
Yeah.
It's really like childish. I'm like, sorry, man. The hazies have more aroma and flavor. Can't handle it. Or like just ignorant.
There are some hazies that really fuck me up, and I don't like them because of the way they taste. But there are some where I'm kind of like, oh,
it's all different hops, and it's how they're made.
But it's also like I'm not like exclusive to fucking anything.
But I'm saying the West Coasters are doing that right now. They're some of the like the OGs.
They can be dumb.
It doesn't matter. They don't matter.
No,
none of that matters. But I go when I go on the West Side, I hear it all the time.
Yeah,
they're trying to like back the West Coast IPA.
See, that is the definition of a hipster, though. Like,
they're trying so hard.
Whatever's popular, they don't want.
I was trying to kiss so many girls with gauges in their ears, and now they all don't have gauges in their ears, and I'm just like, well, I don't know.
You're still just trying to kiss them, though.
I just need it.
An investor known for invigorating companies, C. Dean Metropolis, purchased the brand for a reported $250 million in 2010. Pabst went on the market again in 2014 and was acquired by Blue Ribbon Intermediate Holdings, LLC. Partnership between Eugene Casper, a beer entrepreneur and Pabst's current chairman and CEO, and a San Francisco private equity firm for reported $700 million. The company is now headquartered in Los Angeles. By 2013, 90 million gallons of Pabst PBR were sold, a 200 increase from 2004. In 2015, Pabst won the best large brewing company of the year at GABF, and Josh is rolling his eyes a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of better lagers out there. Just what it is.
Popularity and solidarity of that.
It didn't win.
That's about taste testing.
This didn't win best beer though. This won best large brewing company. So maybe it's just about the way it treats its staff or its growth.
Maybe
standards of.
But they also did have 4 different years where they won best lager. And it's like, dude, there's so many breweries that make a killer lager.
2017, Pabst returns to Milwaukee. We're coming home.
Where you been, dude?
Yeah, we didn't even know.
We have beer now.
Yeah, with the Captain Pabst Pilot House, a tap room and microbrewery, which the company had opened in 2017, closed in 2020, and we know what is there now, right, Josh?
CW?
C-Dubs.
Central Waters.
Did you ever go to the Captain Pabst Pilot House?
No.
I wish I had, because they tried
I meant to.
They wanted to be like the Pabst Craft Brewery.
Yeah. Well, they were making stuff, but I heard it wasn't good.
Yeah.
I've heard it from a lot of people. Actually, one of the brewmasters came into Drafty when we first opened, and very nice guy. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like doing the pitch spiel. It's like, hey, you ever want something on tip? Let me know. I'm the guy that brews the Pabst IPA. And I'm like,
there are weirder products Pabst is putting out now.
Yeah.
2020, Pabst moved from Los Angeles back to San Antonio. PBR is currently brewed by Miller Coors. The contract was set to end in 2020. Miller Coors wanted to terminate the deal at that time. PBR filed a $400 million lawsuit.
Whoa.
I don't know the ins and outs of the lawsuit, but essentially Miller's like, we're not brewing your shit anymore. And Pabst said it was not fair, business tactics. I don't know all of that, so don't quote me. But a settlement was reached and joint operations continued. It appears PBR is safe for now.
Yeah, Pabst was doing a lot of stuff, moving around, selling. I really stopped paying attention to what was happening in Pabst.
Yeah.
I mean, to a degree, like if they've got the recipe and they're doing it in these giant vats, there's no like, how much craftsmanship is left of all of this. That's my biggest thing. What if you can
mass produced?
I know it's mass produced anyway. Like, I mean, there is something to that. There's a difference between like Coca-Cola in a bottle and Coca-Cola in a can.
And Mexican Coke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Miller Coors made this deal before hipsters took over. They were contract brewing for a much smaller operation, and they maybe realized, like, after Pabst went from 1 million to 92 million barrels, they said, maybe this isn't what we want. You're really cutting into what we want. But
and maybe the profit margins are up and down quite a bit.
So let's talk a little bit about some PBR products. Have you ever seen, I've never seen these, but these exist, PBR Extra. It's like a Miller Heavy, or it's like a Miller High Life. It's a black can, 6.5%. I've never even seen it.
I may have.
It's
I just
shown
don't
up at
pay
the
attention.
bodega.
Okay.
The one I go to. I won't shout them out, clearly.
How about PBR Easy?
Am I mistaken?
It's
A
heavier.
nice session, Pabst Lager.
Do you like Pabst, but you're trying to count calories? I guess we have PBR Easy.
Oh, is it really a calorie?
Never had that.
It's a lighter one. It's 3.8%.
Why? Just go.
Well, you want that
Just
flavor.
go NA.
You want
Just go
no,
NA.
you want the flavor, but not the alcohol.
Exactly. Just go NA.
Yeah, Busch actually has a really good non-alcoholic that I like.
There's a lot of good NA happening right now. It's
Yeah.
kind of surprising. Yeah, something I went to said maybe a year or two ago.
2017, 99 can cases were sold for the holidays of Pabst, only in Canada. You can get a 99 pack, which is
I was about to say, is this the like?
I'm kind of wondering if like
gigantic-
that would have been a collector item, and snagging that, and that's just holding on to it.
I don't think so. I think Jamie probably
Just
gets them
that's
every year.
so
and he
oddball.
doesn't pick them up because it's just too heavy.
here. I want to see a picture of this 99 pack.
Dude, it's huge.
That was a viral thing.
It's like a regular looking box.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Limited
99
edition
cans.
family pack.
Is he?
That's great.
Like,
Mark.
I'm fairly certain they sold these at
Costco or something.
no,
like
not
that? Sam's.
Costco.
You also got
fucking-
you got original, easy, and extra, but this is only sold in Canada.
Whatever.
Some
How much is it? Like, well,
It's $12.
what?
It's
30 pack of
$12.
Pabst is like 15, something like that.
in 2019, Pabst celebrated 175 years of brewing beer by releasing its very own whiskey.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
Aged for 15 seconds.
You know this story.
We brought in a bottle. It's fucking horrible.
Josh
It's the
knows this
worst.
story.
Tell me
It's
how
not-
long you have to actually distill.
Dude, I had to
bottle of
pawn that
whiskey
on people
in a
to
barrel.
drink. I had to pawn that on people to drink. I'm like, help me finish
Do you
this
still have
fucking
it?
bottle. No.
I wish you did.
It's
That would be
horrible.
fucking
Is it
awesome.
in your cooler?
Well, they age
wish.
it for like 5 seconds. That's
Yeah. That's
The-
so ridiculous.
That's what it is.
Josh-
So it's a clear whiskey.
Josh is correct.
It's a clear whiskey. It's horrible.
Which is a
It's not
a
aged.
thing.
It's a joke though.
Clear whiskey is not a thing.
It's a real thing.
No,
yeah.
in
is
order
in
for it to be a
Canada?
whiskey and not moonshine, it has to be aged in barrels. So they go to the
that's
fucking
where-
whiskey police and they said, "How long does it have to be aged?" They said, "An indeterminate amount of time."
Yeah.
So it is.
Indeterminate.
That's the answer. So
Doesn't matter.
It's,
A
it's,
numeric.
it
So
has to-
1
it has to-
second.
It has to touch wood.
Yep.
So it's literally aged
Just
for
it's rolled
5
down
seconds.
a barrel.
Do you want to know what the company?
rolled down
Do you know what the company states
drips.
about it?
It drips down out of the nozzle.
When asked about what it, just to describe their product, they said, "We created this whiskey to be drunk, not judged, just like our beer."
Wow. Wow. That is actually kind of hardcore, and I really like it.
No, that is like hipsters like, fuck yeah.
I just hated that we brought it
me.
into my place, and I mean, I'm glad I can say that, but man, it was a pain in the ass to
Jesus
to
Christ.
pawn those. I was like, dollar shots, dude. People that come to Drafty aren't typically like that, but then there's always people that like to try something fun. Like Malort was hard to push, and that shit's the worst though. Malort's worse than the Pabst. By
Lord
far.
is hilarious, though.
Malort is disgusting.
PBR was desperately trying to maintain relevance and hipster status. So not only did they make a whiskey, but they came out with such products in 2019 as Pabst Hard Coffee, which still is weird to me.
Yes.
We just had one. It's fine. Vanilla infused premium iced coffee with a 5% ABV, essentially an alcoholic frappuccino.
Yeah,
It's fine.
it's desserty coffee. I like to describe it as chocolate milk, elementary school days.
Cafeteria chocolate milk in a can.
Yeah.
And
the fact that they
gets
call it
you
salted
drunk.
caramel is a little.
Well,
fucking
this
wild.
is they have several iterations.
No, I know, but the fact they call it salted, there was no hint of
More
salt.
like assaulted. Oh my gosh.
My taste buds
Dude, he
were
fucking
assaulted.
got him.
They also
Nailed
made Pabst Stronger Seltzer at 8% ABV.
Get the fuck out of the seltzer game, bitch. That's my shit. I'm kidding. Fuck seltzers.
2020, they came out with Pabst Blue Ribbon Hard Tea, 100 calorie, 4% ABV, uniquely Pabstidian evolution of the seltzer market.
Pabstidian?
Pabstidian.
That's what it says.
That's.
Here to get
I'm not
you
gonna,
drunk
I'm not gonna
on
use the slur
seltzer,
for
not
mentally
enjoy.
handicapped people.
And also in 2020, they started working on a product called High Seltzer.
Oh, okay.
Cannabis infused seltzer.
Wow, really?
Contains 5 milligrams of THC.
And
Oh,
poison.
actually. Oh,
Where are they brewing this?
Well, it's only available in California. It says responsible dosage to make it a go-to drink for both casual and experienced cannabis users. No alcohol. Made by Pabst Labs, a licensed cannabis operator involving former PBR employees and I put weed drink experts.
How do you think Captain Pabst would feel right now?
High as fuck.
If he was trying to make money,
Dude, if that guy,
he doesn't
dude,
give a shit.
Dude, he'd be like, oh man, bro, I'm fucking weeded out,
he
yo.
probably fucking smoked weed before anyone else in this country.
You ever smoked with a cat?
Yeah, when you're rich, you can do a lot of things that other people can't do.
And
Yeah,
I must bring up advertising slogans can be hit or miss, but for a few hours Monday morning, you might even say they gobbled it up. This was 2022.
This year.
January 3rd, 2022 at 5:31 a.m., Pabst Blue Ribbon tweets out this. Not drinking this January? Try eating ass. That's crazy to me.
Fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Try January. Eat ass instead.
You know, I was hired to do their Twitter.
This was deleted, and that guy was fired, but no, it actually just says try eating ass. Pabst Blue Ribbon tweeted out, you should eat some ass.
So was he just fired, or are they coming out with a new ass-flavored beer?
They hire,
upset that
so
their
what
volume goes
all these
down.
companies do, like Viacom or whatever, they hire someone basically at like minimum wage to do tweets for them at least once an hour every day. And no, I'm not even kidding.
No,
Like,
I believe you.
social
I just
media
think
people.
it's
but that's,
crazy.
But that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
We apologize about the language and content of our recent tweets. The tweets in question were written in poor judgment.
Don't apologize.
In no way does the content of these tweets reflect the values of
does.
Pabst and our associates. We do not
does.
eat butt.
It does.
Yeah.
It reflects all of it.
Does anyone have any closing thoughts on PBRs?
It's a great beer.
It is good.
It's a solid beer.
It's solid. If you want to play beer pong or any drinking game, it's a solid go-to. Quite honestly.
It's if I go to a punk bar, if I go to a cheap bar, I will always happily drink a couple of Pabsts.
Absolutely.
If I don't know what to get, it's the one I get.
Absolutely.
A tall boy of this is far and away more approachable than something that I don't know what the fuck it is.
I don't have shit to say, guys. It's Pabst. Whatever.
I like
it. Fun history.
I like the history.
Is it or is it not on tap at your bar?
It is not on tap at my fucking bar. I actually do have the hard coffee right now. We rotate that in.
Okay.
That shit's delicious.
People
though.
drink it. Whatever.
That was honestly pretty good.
No, not this shit. This salted caramel
To me, it
stuff
tastes
is
the
fine.
same.
It's fine.
That tastes the same as the other
horseshit.
one.
But-
yeah, well,
but-
whatever. It's all the same.
I
It
do like
is.
the cold brew. It does taste like
I like
hot
coffee.
chocolate or whatever.
Well, I get that.
With cold
But-
chocolate.
Yeah.
I was very happy to learn about the history of Pabst Brewing.
I do
to
like-
learn about the history of Milwaukee. I didn't realize how cool Captain Frederick Pabst was at the time, saying "fuck you" to corporate buyouts, saving his crew, just being a badass like overall brewer and dude. That stuff's cool, and he also put a lot of money right back into the city. And I know he was very supportive of veterans coming back from the Civil War. He's like paying for their shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially the Union.
I'm very happy to know why they call it the Blue Ribbon, even if it never won a Blue Ribbon. They did attach a lot of blue ribbons to it. I don't know. PBR is cool. Go drink some.
Yeah. That's fine.
If you want more beer episodes, let us know. We're interested.
Honestly, I thought this was fantastic. I loved your little storytelling. You did a great job, Brad. I'm not even kidding. Like,
Way
this
to
is
go,
like,
mister.
We've been Hair of the
it's a
Dogcast.
caution.
If we got anything wrong and you're a big PBR expert, or a raging hipster who doesn't like that,
Absolutely.
or that doesn't like something we said, reach out to us. We're hairthedogcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
We're on Twitter @HotDogcast, on Instagram.
Truly.
Hair the Dogcast. We love beer. If you want to send us beer, reach out. We'll take it. And
If we got it, we will, you know?
and I know that a lot of people listen to us for video game news and things for our opinions on the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer that will come soon. We will be back talking video games next week, 2 weeks from now as well, when the Dogcast returns. But thanks for checking us out. Like and subscribe, write reviews, drink PBRs.
Tell me how much I suck, but leave 5 stars. It's fine.
You're allowed to tell Dylan he sucks, but
You have to get
leave it
5
under
stars.
a 5-star review.
Oh, yeah. It's got to be true. You can actually roast me, and I'll never see it.
Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
What kind of beer do you like? Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
I've got Pabst Blue Ribbon on my mind.